Ragu introduces Chicken Tonight simmer sauces, and suddenly everybody's saying,
I feel like chicken tonight, like chicken tonight, chicken tonight.
Choose from 6 new sauces. Each one's made with real vegetables and herbs, so you can make dishes like country French chicken and chicken cacciatore. Just brown the chicken, simmer, and serve.
I feel like chicken tonight, like chicken tonight.
New Chicken Tonight simmer sauces from Ragu.
Chicken tonight.
Too much energy.
Is one of them a squid?
Cheetor, what have you done?
Blah 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 blah, Beast Wars once and for all.
It's like throw her into the compactor. Well, you don't need this anymore.
Why do you always talk to yourself?
I simply have a penchant for intelligent conversation.
Yeah,
Say
that-
Calabar! No! Say Calabar! No!
No, not that.
Good evening, Sigma Ballers. Welcome back to Too Much Energon, the Lasercomb podcast where we talk about Beast Wars shit and talk shit about Beast Wars. I'm one of your hosts, Christopher Siege.
And I'm NeoCal. Hello.
NeoCal, do you feel like chicken tonight?
I do feel like chicken tonight.
You had chicken tonight.
I did.
Yes.
I wanted to make sure I didn't kill myself and cook it properly.
Yeah, you were having issues. With flame broiling that bird, as it were,
Yeah.
through the fire and flames.
Yeah, through the fire and flames, we carry on.
Do you
And I
remember?
did.
Remember the product Chicken Tonight? This is something only millennials or international listeners are probably going to be aware of. But
I feel like chicken tonight.
I feel like chicken tonight. Oh,
It's an old memory, but I got that little part in my head.
back from like 1990 to about 1994, 95 or so, in North America, well, in Canada specifically, Ragu, pasta sauce maker, who pulled out of Canada last year, actually. Can't buy Ragu. Can't buy Ragu pasta sauce in Canada anymore. Now
Good
what
riddance.
what are we gonna do when we need a $2 jar of pasta sauce?
Make our own fucking pasta.
Soupy pasta sauce. Was never a fan of Ragu, but I was a
Neither
fan of
was I.
chicken. I was a fan of Chicken Tonight as a child. So yeah, from like 1990 to 1994 or so in Canada, Ragu made this product called Chicken Tonight. It was basically sauces for like simmering sauces for like chicken cacciatore and like chicken Alfredo and things like that. And it had this
Right.
very, very iconic promotional campaign, like these very memorable commercials where people would do this like stupid ass chicken dance, and the song would be like, "I feel like chicken tonight." It's a very, very catchy song. Stuck with me.
Unfortunately, it stuck with me too.
It stuck with me like all the way into adulthood. The reason why I bring this up is because I discovered today that Chicken Tonight is still around. Not in Canada or the United States, but Chicken Tonight is still around in, according to Wikipedia, the United Kingdom, New Zealand, the Netherlands, and Australia. So
Bizarre.
And I went to YouTube, and there are even like they still use that stupid jingle on the commercials.
No way.
They do, yeah. Yeah, if you look on YouTube, there are like commercials from within the past few years from like
Oh, wow.
Australia and like New Zealand for Chicken Tonight, still doing that same stupid ass jingle. And you know what? It obviously works for them because like here we are, like 30 years later, and I still remember the shit.
Yeah. And it was because I was cooking chicken.
And it was that's what listeners, that's what reminded me, is because Cal was giving me updates on his
Chicken.
flaming chicken excursion.
Yeah. It ain't gonna kill itself.
People listening to this are like, what the fuck does this have to do with Beast Wars?
Well, you see,
Is
chicken.
there a chicken in Beast Machines?
No.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe.
Stay tuned for season 2.
Shows what I know. Yeah.
So this is episode 66 of Too Much Energon. I just bit my tongue. It's episode 66 of Too Much Energon, and this week we're just kind of recapping season 1, giving our overall thoughts. Probably going to be a pretty short episode, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not going to be one of our legendary Avengers Endgame 3.5 hour long podcasts where we talk about like one episode, 22-minute episodes.
And we got a conspiracy board behind us. No.
So Cal, thoughts on Beast Machines season 1. First off, actually, before we get into that though, we did it. It's another milestone on Too Much Energon. We we finished another season of the show. Like,
wow, here we are.
Born to be king.
Beast Machine season, and there's 2 seasons?
There are 2 seasons indeed, yes.
Yeah.
Shit. So we
I
got
have no idea what's gonna happen season 2.
Well, as I mentioned on previous the last couple of episodes, I believe, I kind of cheated on the podcast and got a little ahead of myself and binged through like halfway through season 2, and there's some fucking wild shit coming. Like, it's stuff that if I couldn't even make up.
Season 1 ended, so
if I decided to like make up fake spoilers for season 2 of Beast Machine, what I've seen of season 2 of Beast Machines, they would be less. Okay, so if I made up a bunch of fake spoilers and told them to you, and then also told you like real plot details, I guarantee like you would pick out like the real stuff as being the fake stuff.
You couldn't even come up with.
I couldn't even come up with
less
like,
believable. Oh wow.
Yeah. And it's riveting. Like I was definitely there for it. It's the shit's wild and free.
I don't even know how it's gonna pick up.
And all I'm saying is they may feel like chicken tonight at some point on Planet Megatron.
Okay. Can't tell if you're being truthful or. Oh God, is there a chicken? No, there can't be.
Is such a thing even possible? Yes, it is.
No. I don't believe it.
You're like Neo right after he gets told what the Matrix is and gets unplugged, and he like falls on the floor and is all like, I don't believe it, and then like pukes.
That's literally me. Yeah. No, let me out.
Oh Christ. Overall thoughts on season 1 of Beast Machines. Cal, what do you have to say about Beast Machines so far? Where are we at? Let's the people need to know.
You would think with the level of the number of times that the characters are just running from one place to the other with motion lines behind them.
Right.
And instead of Cheetor says some Cheetor bullshit, we've replaced it with, and then they fight some Viacons.
Yeah.
It's
almost Jetstorm says some Jetstorm bullshit.
That's kind of
that one kind
that's kind of replacing the Cheetor bullshit. Yeah. It's not that bad, and then they fight some Viacons. Some episodes were like, oh my god, they're still trying to tip over the weird like bridge thing. But it's interesting. There's less gun fighting and more kung fu, which again, inspired by the Matrix, perhaps. And
Perhaps.
That's good and bad. Like barely any of them have any guns. Halfway through the first season, they forgot that Primal has like that chest energy launcher.
His chest discs.
But I do like that they don't have guns, and so they have to fight differently. So I actually dig that part, because then it's not just a boring firefight. They can do some stuff with choreography and jumping behind people and throwing vine grenades, or horrifyingly shooting your jaws out of your mouth to paralyze people.
Yeah, Night Scream with his like fang taser.
But like overall, I am actually shocked at how good it is. Because if you just take any clip of it, you're like, this is dark. All the buildings are boring and they're like that blue steelish color.
Cal did the Zoolander. For the audio listeners, Cal did the Zoolander blue steel face.
And
which, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it.
But like everything's like that blue steel-ish color, and it's dark. And so you're like, oh, visually this isn't good looking, but it makes up for it in that the characters all have very strong silhouettes. They're all shaped very differently.
You know, one thing I will say about the color palette of the show, it is really dark. I remember it being very hard on CRT televisions back in the day, like back when the show was originally airing.
I remember it being about that. Yeah,
I remember it being very hard to tell the difference between anything. Like everything just looked blue. And indeed,
I never thought about that. Yeah.
Indeed, when I watch the show on Tubi, a lot of the time, like that still happens. But when I watch the show on DVD on my like 4K Blu-ray player that actually like upreses it and like auto HDRs and stuff like that, it actually makes the show like quite watchable, quite a lot more watchable.
I could imagine. Yeah. But like, I like all the kung fu. I like the idea that the enemies, they can't just destroy them. So it's not like Beast Wars where they're like, blah, 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 Beast Wars once and for all. And it's like they just don't kill each other. Something either stops the Predacons from killing the Maximals, or the Maximals, they're just merciful, right? In this, they can't get the Vehicons because they're their old friends. And they believe they can like redeem them or bring their memories back. So that's intriguing. And as for being the Master Control program is really intriguing, but like he's way more evil. So you can't compare it. You can't compare season 1 of Beast Machines to season 1 of Beast Wars.
Well, and I don't think that's necessarily what we need to do.
No,
we don't need to.
It's just so different. No, but
and I think
I liked it. I liked it.
I think that's one of the problems that a lot of Beast Wars fans have with Beast Machines is they're just comparing it to Beast Wars.
And that's not what they want. Yeah.
And it's like, it's not Beast Wars. It's very much not Beast Wars. It's a very different show. Yes, it's the same character, most of the same characters, or not even most, but a handful of the same characters. Yeah. But it's a very different show. The tone is wildly different. The setting's different. The objective, the plot is quite different from Beast Wars. Two very different animals.
Yeah. Two very different beasts.
Yeah. Two very different Maximals.
Two different beasts. Yeah.
Two different beast modes.
Surprisingly few amount of episodes are bad.
Yeah.
It is solid, and its storytelling is consistent. Like you could tell they actually road mapped this instead of just like throwing random like episodes together, which a lot of Beast Wars does. So I will give it that credit over Beast Wars. It has a very coherent, very intriguing plot and interesting and unexpected character development. Yeah, so I was you had told me I think you'll like Beast Machines, and I do.
Yeah, I remember saying that ages ago. I think while we were still in season 2 of Beast Wars, I'm like, I feel like you're gonna really like Beast Machines, and you're like, I don't know, and I'm like, nah, I got a feeling.
Yeah, and I did. You're like the first time, or one of the first times, Tigatron was like hacking, and it like went Lawnmower Man mode, and he was like moving things and solving puzzles and swimming through a firewall and bullshit. And I was like, fuck yeah. And you're like, well, if you like hacking.
Yeah, and it's also just the a lot of the like more spiritual aspects of the show, like I had a feeling would appeal to you.
It definitely does. I wish they explored that a little more than just primal meditating and being a grump. Right? I have to meditate on what the Oracle says. And it's like, if the Oracle had given more interesting visions or signs, right, I would have liked it. But I like the spirituality as heightened, and the technological aspects of it are heightened. I love that mixture of things. You ever see Equilibrium?
Oh yeah. With the gun.
I love that kind of shit. Yeah. Dystopian futures with like kung fu and gunplay and
I was in martial arts at the time when I first saw that movie, so I was kind of intrigued. I was kind of intrigued by the gun kata.
I was like, wait, that's totally realistic. You could like move in such a way to like minimize the risk of like taking fire yourself while optimizing your positions too.
Yeah, the
SWAT teams don't use gun kata.
Well, the stances that they go into are very realistic in terms of like actual martial arts stances.
It's very Tai Chi.
Yeah. You can tell they got someone who actually like knows martial arts to be their like
it was fun
action coordinator.
It was fun, yeah.
Or action choreographer, rather.
Both Beast Machines and Equilibrium is fun. What?
What?
And it's just
I gotta make
dialogue
I gotta make that new intro for next week.
And the dialogue is like more yeah, it's more mature.
Oh, it is totally.
Yeah, definitely is. Like weird concepts, like, and don't get me wrong, like it's not like Beast Wars was a slouch. Like we all remember like Code of Hero.
Yeah.
Right. But it's regularly
written by like, friend of the show, Ian Weir.
It's almost like the show doesn't address it, but they're fighting off. They're literally like fighting for the like the souls of millions of
people. Quite literally, yeah.
And so they don't have time to be depressed. Do you know what I mean? Like they have to do it. They don't have time to dwell on like sad shit. They gotta build bio liquid drills and and constantly make their move. And
they need to spread plant jizz, shoot plant jizz all over the place and make a big mess.
As big of a mess as possible.
All over Planet Megatron's face.
And that's how season 1 ended. And I like how Megatron was like, oh, so you're going to be a little bitch, huh? Well, I can too. And then I'm like, wait, what? What happens now? I could not have predicted the end of season 1. And
That
it
they-
sounds like
they-
I'll never predict anything in season 2.
That they both basically just press the nuclear
Press the nuke.
the nuclear launch buttons.
And like, what does that mean? The planet is like simultaneously covered in like tech, like that, like blue, like nanotech shit that
Technomatter.
like kills
Technomatter.
technomatter. And but also like
Techno-organic matter.
what's his name activated that weird bomb? What was the I can't even remember.
The like plasma core chamber something.
Something that's supposed to do the opposite, eliminate all technological everything on the planet. And it's like both of those are really bad things.
Yeah.
And they both just happened.
Yeah. So does that mean, well, everyone is fucked then? Find out next
Cybertron
week
turns into
on
a
Too
black
Much
hole.
Energon.
I think it's going to have the equivalent of a transmetals thing where like they all get new forms and the whole planet is remade and all of them are remade.
So like a quantum surge type dealio.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't make any predictions beyond fuck. And maybe like everyone's memories comes back and I don't know.
And then we find out that Megatron's new Viacon General is actually Tarantulas, brought back to Cybertron by the Vok.
Seems legit.
I mean, if
The Vok were inside of him when
if Waspinator can literally fly to Cybertron for 4 million years.
Is that what he implied?
That is what he implied. I love it. Oh god.
No way.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite gags and all. Not that there are a ton of gags in season 1 of Beast Machines, but that was like one of my favorite jokes in the whole season.
The eternal loneliness of millions of years in space has driven Waspinator quite mad.
No, in space, no one can hear Waspinator go. "Roar."
No one can hear Waspinator cry.
But Waspinator has plans. Yeah, I really dig season 1 of Beast Machines. I love how the characters actually developed. Like, not to
All
say
of them.
not to say Beast
Yeah.
Wars didn't have character development, because it definitely did,
It
especially
definitely
with
does, yeah.
especially with in the cases of like Rat Trap and Dinobot, Rhinox. There was definitely character development in Beast Wars, but in Beast Machines, I don't know, like this show definitely benefits from clearly having a story arc, like an entire season mapped out before they went into
Yes.
production. Whereas
And the
in
character
Beast,
development is realistic because sometimes they're jerks.
yeah,
It
sometimes
feels more real. Yeah.
sometimes Rat Trap has to go to protect Megatron in exchange for a Metal Gear mech.
I mean, none of us could say we do otherwise.
I just rewatched that episode actually in preparation for this podcast. I think the episode 6, the week component, is my favorite episode of season 1.
That's pretty good. It's so artsy too, like your virtual background. Audio listeners.
Yeah.
That one scene where he's talking to Megatron, or all of them are there, and he's about to defend Megatron, and it's like a black silhouette against like a red. It's very artsy. There's a lot more artsy shit in this.
Indeed,
show.
and the guy who directed that episode ended up going on to like direct movies and whatnot. He's still working, which doesn't surprise me. Like the guy
course, yeah.
the guy has he's a visual storyteller, to be sure.
Yeah. It was good.
It was.
Some of the stuff is
Where-
like weird and convoluted, and some of it hurt. It hurts that
Still don't know what the fuck is up with that plant with the like seeds that made them go ape shit. That never got resolved.
not really. And they were like, no, we don't want to cover the planet in this stuff. Remember what happened to us? But Night Scream was like, I was fine. So it implies that
Well, he had a beast mode though. They had techno-organic beast. He had a purely organic beast mode. They had techno-organic beast mode. So I think that,
and they were eating purely organic food.
yeah, so I think whatever was up with those seeds, I think has to do with, I think the reason why it drove them ape shit has to do with the fact that they're techno-organic. But who knows? Maybe it'll get
Right,
addressed in
because
season 2.
Night Scream was eating them before he was like converted by Primal, and that like took a bunch of his energy, right?
Yeah.
I do like the at the end where Tank Knox like shows up and he's like, Primal, what are you doing trying to convert another transformer without their consent? That ain't like you. Bad, Primal.
Consent's important, Gary. Learn that the hard way. One too many beers at the saloon, if you know what I mean.
Now sit down and shut up. What's the long face, Gary? You look blue.
Yeah, so what's gonna happen to Rhinox then?
I know you know, but like
Yeah.
fucking bananas, man. You know what? Like, think about it. Okay, at first I was like, holy shit, Primal is so different in this. But remember, Megatron was like, oh yes, time to rub it in before I kill you. Look, your friends are turning blue. They're dying.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. How does it feel? Anybody in that position will be like, okay, if I just die here, we lose. Right? Like everyone, the Viacon generals are stuck with, they'll probably be decommissioned, right? Everyone will be, Megatron will have supreme control. What is there to lose at this point? Even if it meant they die and the whole planet becomes organic,
And
they're going to die anyway, so fuck it.
they're gonna die anyway, and then the planet wins.
And then Megatron was like, I think not. How about we both die in both ways? And it's, oh, man, the planet's going to be different. It's exciting. It's exciting times in 2022 watching this 25-year-old.
You know what I wonder
not
is
quite 25 years old, but
you know what I wonder is what Earth is up to in all of this. Because we know in Transformers the movie, which is set in 2005, like, because of technology shared with humans by the Autobots, people in this world are already like a spacefaring species.
in 2005.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of Transformers the movie.
I'm so confused about the timeline.
This is, we'll say, 300 years in the future. So we'll say
somewhere around.
We'll say the mid 24th century, basically Star Trek Next Generation time. So imagine like Earth is flying around in the USS Enterprise.
So Earth is up to crazy spacefaring bullshit.
Yeah. So I wonder like where they are while this is going on.
And what's their
Cybertron.
interaction with Transformers?
At this point, we don't know. But they seem pretty tight in Transformers the movie. Like, the Autobots even had Autobot City on Earth, and like there were humans living on Cybertron and Cybertron's moons, and yeah, I just wonder.
There are other Transformers throughout the universe, but
yeah, all over
on
the place.
Cybertron's fucked at this point, and Megatron's been in charge of it a long time.
Yeah,
I'm curious what Earthlings and Transformers are doing elsewhere.
Yeah,
or if they're even aware.
Well, I mean, like, presumably Earth has maintained travel and contact between Cybertron over the past several hundred years, so I wonder what happened.
Right.
Maybe Earth like figured out what was going on with Megatron, tried tried to fight to aid the Transformers for a while, didn't work, and they eventually just cut their losses.
Pieced out. Yeah, took whatever survivors they could, maybe, and I
Yeah.
guess there were none. It happened so fast.
Yeah. Fuck, that would be like, I'd be interested in reading a comic book or something around about that. Like,
Preceding Beast Machines.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm very curious. We need some fan fiction.
Yeah. Listeners out there who write fan fiction, you know what to do. Write a story telling us what Earth and other Transformers, what are the Quintessons up to during all of this?
Yeah, how many of those guys are still alive?
Yeah, who knows?
And like what, 5? 1? We know there's at least
7?
1, right? If I'm not mistaken, they're the multi-headed fuckers.
They are, yeah.
Right?
The ones who like they have like 5 faces, and then they'll like spin depending on it. They'll spin around and then talk from whatever face depending on what
created or
they created the Transformers.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
And when they created them, before they branched off in different like subspecies, they were just 1, or did they create 2?
They created 1. My memory is kind of hazy on a lot of G1
I think they created
stuff.
1, but the ones,
but they created the Decepticons first, and then the Autobots broke off from the Decepticons. They created them as like a slave race essentially, and the Autobots broke off from the Decepticons, and like a big uprising happened, and
they got free, and the Decepticons were still captive, and they had to fight for their freedom.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know. There are episodes of G1 about it. Maybe we'll talk about them someday on this show.
Yeah, someday. But yeah, what's your takeaway from it?
Do we want to rate season 1 of Beast Machines on the too much energon scale?
All of season 1?
Yeah. Why not?
Okay. Yeah.
It's our show. We can do whatever we want.
That's right.
All right. So here on Too Much Energon, we rate stuff relating to Beast Wars or Beast Machines on the Too Much Energon scale. It ranges from not enough energon to a sufficient amount of energon to too much energon. It's basically bad, okay, good. Kal, what do you rank season 1 of Beast Machines on the Too Much Energon scale?
It very easily gets too much energon. Easy peasy. It would have gotten a special, even higher rating if like my boy like Scorponok or fucking
could you imagine
Pterosaur popped up?
Could you imagine if like Thrust ended up being Scorponok?
If he was, man. Oh, it seems a fellow arachnid loves me. Do you know how happy I would have been? But I'm also happy that it's Waspinator.
Yeah,
which makes just as much sense as it would have been the other two.
Yeah,
it gets easy too much energon. Like I am better for having watched it.
I am also going to give season 1 of Beast Machines too much energon. Yes. I think it's overall a pretty well written show. Most of the episodes are quite well paced. We tend to yada yada over the action sequences in every episode because
they tend to be good.
Like they're good, but there's not really a lot to talk about with them. But they always go by quickly enough. The Viacon generals are a lot of fun. I really like the way the characters, the Maximals have grown as characters. Not only from Beast Wars, but from like when we first met them in the first episode of Beast Machines, all the way to
that's what I mean.
Like,
I agree.
Fedor has really come in his own. Like, he's truly like feels like a grown up now.
Oh, definitely.
Optimus
Biggest character growth.
Optimus has gone kind of wackadoo with guilt over over what's happened to Cybertron. I don't think the guilt is founded. I don't think
Same.
he should. I don't think he should feel responsible, but I understand that he does, and
Same.
so that's fueling like a lot of the decisions that he makes throughout the show. Rat Trap has developed extremely well.
Very.
Black Arachnia, like her Black Arachnia and her quest to reclaim Silverbolt, and then just her comical shock and bewilderment when she finds out who Thrust actually is was quite amusing. Megatron has truly become evil in this show, and he was
a doubt.
He was definitely like getting that way in Beast Wars, especially like late in season 2 onward.
We could see it coming, like when he took over the Vox ship, became the head that like came out of the fucking ship. He's like, oh, time to go to Cybertron now. And
when he was straight up,
he's getting evil.
When he was straight up torturing Rampage all the time, when he tried to kill like Neanderthals to wipe out humanity to change the future, like he was started doing some like truly dastardly stuff. But then in this show,
and then
like,
we get to see
he straight up becomes like Transformers Hitler.
We get to see it very much feels like where he would have been.
Yeah.
With nothing good happening in his life.
And no one to talk to but the diagnostic drone. No.
Yeah, that would make anybody go a little. Well, he created it.
Yeah.
I presumed he created it around the time the show started. He hasn't been around like 1,000 years, right?
Yeah, because I don't even think we meet the diagnostic drone until about the 3rd episode. And I've talked about it before. Like, it's definitely like that character was put into the show by the writers clearly to give Megatron someone to interact with regularly, because he never leaves his fucking Megadome.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just him talking to himself. And don't get me wrong, some of the best episodes of Beast Wars are when he's talking to himself, but
just giving monologues. Yes.
But there needed to be some interaction with him.
Yeah, totally. Also the fall of Rhinox, man. That
took balls.
It did.
The writers, it takes balls to do something like that.
And like it actually got me. And like I was talking about it, I think on the last episode, like when Rhinox
Trap's like twitching on the ground, and
like
Rhinox is like, nothing personal, little buddy.
Yeah, just completely doesn't give a shit. Like that was a very big like turning point moment for me. Like these two were like the best of friends for however long, and like that for me that was like a point of no return. Like shit, like the Rhinox as we knew him is truly gone, and this hurts.
That's a good way to put it. Like that's not Rhinox anymore. Like you said, just like zapped him. Rat Trap's like twitching on the ground in pain, and like doesn't even finish him off, just strolls by him, and it's like, who the fuck is this guy? Did Rhinox fly through space for 4 million years and have nothing but loathing and contempt in his own mind to keep him company? Like what? I feel like there was a lot of time and it affected people in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's an untold story here. Like maybe Rhinox existed as a spark and waited for like hundreds, thousands of years for like the Maximals to come and save him, and just having that hope smashed over like hundreds or thousands of years. Like,
yeah, I did mention I mentioned 300 years earlier, but I guess because of transwarp shenanigans, we actually don't know when they ended up back on Cybertron. Because Megatron clearly got back way before, like way
before. Yeah.
So for all we know, they've gone like 1,000 years into the future.
And that's what I
At this
had
point.
wondered. Yeah, if they had like landed so far in the future, Megatron was like, "Ah, my old friend, come back to entertain me once again." I think not. Primal.
I have an Xbox right here with your name on it. Yes.
It's a 360. Future tech.
What? And Gary's like, what year is it?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah, so yeah, Beast Machine season 1, great. Great writing, great character development, great music, great animation. I think the animation in this show actually holds up quite well.
It does. Man, it's better than so much shit that exists now. And it's 20 plus years old.
Yeah.
Like legit, it is better than a lot of animation now.
Yeah, like there are some details, like the backgrounds are kind of bland and generic by today's standards, but I think the animation, like the way the characters move and like the character models, I think hold up to today's CGI.
Not only do they hold up, but like that's the peak of their craft, Mainframe Entertainment. Like they're so expressive, even though they're not animals. Or they're techno-organic, right? And you'd think that would take away from how expressive they are. It's not just like Gary Primal faces from like Beast Wars. It's
yeah.
Everybody is very expressive, and they're maybe other people would hate them if you're listening to this, but like I actually think their robot forms are phenomenal looking.
Except Night Scream. but that's more just I hate the design of it, not the animation or the texture or anything like that.
Emo was a thing picking up, so
I like his beast mode. Just don't like
yeah, he's fine as a bat. He's just
his bat mode looks really cool.
Creepy as shit in his robot form. Interesting that they made just also, even though it's a techno-organic cheetah, Cheetor's like cat faces in this are fucking right on cat faces.
Super. Like he always has like super cute cat faces. It's great.
It's kudos to like bonus points just for that. Just for the cute cat faces.
All right.
And the cute spider faces, I guess.
I really like Black Arachnia's robot form.
I really like her robot form.
I don't like her beast mode just because I don't like her beast mode just because I've said this before, but I'm very arachnophobic, and speaking to Mainframe's credit to character animations, the way she runs like a spider looks
like a spider.
It's a little too real for me.
Yeah.
All right, I think that probably about does it for this episode of Too Much Energon.
I feel so.
Unless you have something more you want to add that you feel like chicken tonight.
I felt like chicken tonight. I no longer feel like chicken tonight.
And why is that?
I'm chickened out, man.
You're chickened out.
Yeah, I'm chickening out.
Chicken tonight?
Yeah, I had chicken tonight. The chicken era is over.
I had I too had chicken tonight because I went to Original Joe's and had a buffalo chicken wrap.
Original Joe's, what is that?
It's like a white spot type place.
Oh, I've never been.
There is one. This is a local talk, but there is one at Tuscany Village. In Victoria, BC, right by the Thrifty Foods and Save On there at Quadra and, or not Quadra, Shelbourne and Mackenzie. Again, let's
take the I-55.
Super local talk.
Just take the I-55 till
But yeah,
you
it's
hit
good.
Pasadena and then go south on, yeah.
Anyway, that about does it for episode 65 of Too Much Energon. If you want to support the show, best way to do that is go to Patreon, patreon.com/lazorcomb, LAZORCOMB. We're starting at the $5 tier. You get hours each and every week of bonus preamble audio. This week in particular, I go into detail about a particularly devastating series of mental health episodes that I went through over the past week. I don't pull any punches when I talk about it, so if you want to hear about some of the like wackadoo stuff that that I deal with, that's the place to check it out.
Some real talk.
Some very, very real talk. Some of the realest talk we've done on the preambles, honestly.
I think it's because we weren't thinking of it being recorded. We were just talking.
No, and that's like, it was being recorded, but yeah, I was just talking.
Yeah.
Definitely. You also get our monthly Beast Wars comic book show, Too Much Galavar, where we talk about the 2021 IDW Beast Wars comic book. There's going to be a new episode of that coming out soon. You also get a monthly commentary track where we just watch a movie and talk over it. We're a little behind on that, but we're looking at getting caught up. Right now, I think there are 4 episodes of that out. We have Transformers the movie, which we recorded a while back. We have Batman and Robin. We have The Room, and we have the first Matrix movie. And we're soon gonna do the Matrix sequels in the build up to the Matrix Revolutions, which is time of recording is coming out in just a little over a month. And
I'm a little excited.
Me and Cal are both very hyped for that. So
I'm gonna bring my trench coat. I have Neo glasses. I'm
doing the same, man. We gotta make a thing of it.
Yeah.
There's also a $10 tier, which gets you our weekly news and current events program, Lasercomb Tonight. It also gets you to pick a show for us to talk about on one of our other podcasts called the Lasercomb Podcast, where we review a random episode of a show, either chosen by Twitter poll, whatever our whim happens to be of the day, but also if you're a $10 patron, you get to pick a show for us to talk about a random episode of. We've already done a couple patron shows, and we have a couple more in the pipeline that are going to be coming up real soon. It's also a $25 tier that gets you a t-shirt after 3 months and plus all the previous rewards. It is the Too Much tier. So check it out, patreon.com/lasercomb. Social media, facebook.com/toomuchenergon or facebook.com/lasercomb, LAZORCOMB. You can follow this or any of the other various shows that we do, and also go to Twitter @toomuchenergon, which is kind of where I post stuff about this show, and I also post Transformers related stuff. But you can also follow my personal account @lasercomb. Once again, LAZORCOMB. Cal, you are on the Twitter as well, yes?
I am on the Twitter. How did you know? Yeah, it's Neo_Cal. So NEO_KAL.
Go and follow him. Go and follow any of our
Go follow me. Follow the memes I post.
All those dank memes. People
Those
still
dank
say that.
Cryptocurrency memes.
People still say that, dank memes.
I know I do, but I'm also an old man, so
I'm also like 57, so what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
We will be back next week with episode 66 of Too Much Energon, where we will be talking about the first episode of season 2 of Beast Machines Fallout. Because war never changes.
That's right, Ron Perlman. Doesn't fucking change.
Funny enough, Ron Perlman voicing Gary Primal in Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
Yeah.
So it's all coming full circle.
Boycott Perlman. Boycott Perlman.
It's all coming full circle here. And with that being said, I think that about does it. We are going to jump in the Autobot shuttle and blast off back to planet Energon. I've been one of your hosts, Christopher Siege.
And I'm NeoCal.
And until next week, I feel like chicken tonight. Chicken tonight. Chicken tonight. I feel like chicken tonight. Chicken tonight. Bye-bye.
Bye. I refuse to do the chicken dance.
Well, that's our story from Gladiator Arena, Los Angeles, California. For Larry Zonka, I'm Mike Adamley. See you again next week for more exciting semifinal action.